until now, the few clients I've had have come with cash or they've been family and friends, and I have discounted or offered my services for free. So this is what this particular hypnotherapist is saying from the United States. I've listened to your advice when you talk about how you exchanged your hypnosis services for something in return when it comes to families, so they understand the value. I also learned not to give my sessions away for free anymore because people just don't value them. I get that. However, I still have a bit of time asking for the money straight away. I experienced this with my last client. I never charged her on the first visit because of time. It took 92 minutes and she needed to leave, and so I thought I'll do it for the next session. By the next session, I was so excited to get started, and I knew it would take another 90 minutes with all her anger issues, so I figured I'd collect at the end instead, but I didn't. I had a great relationship with this client. We hugged at the end of each session, and she did her homework. She was doing great for quitting smoking. Through a series of events that followed after 4 workers got in a car accident, then her father-in-law got in the hospital, she had to jump on a plane to attend to him, etc. She kept saying she was definitely coming back, and after 3 weeks, I figured out that she was just leading me on, and she never came back. I was so disappointed because she did so well in the first 4 sessions. I'm sure of it. She definitely was in trance, and she sent me her learnings and all the rest of that. Yes, I get it. I am the problem for not having collected the first session no matter what. Lesson learned. When it came to asking for money, I guess I just was not that strong yet. And it was a learning experience for sure. So after she stopped responding to my texts and phone calls, I billed her through PayPal and sent an invoice in the mail, and nothing. She came into my space and I spent time on her, and she basically knew she was not going to pay. I am the angry one now. This was so disappointing because I had all of her next sessions outlined and ready. I spent a lot of time rehearsing and getting ready for her appointments. I was very vested in her success. So I feel that not only did I not get paid, she's probably still a smoker and I wasted so much time on her. After she was so nice to me, smiling and hugging, but underneath she must have known that she was not going to pay me. I feel like she took me for a fool, and worse, I let her. This really made me think about how to move forward. No question, I will now ask for the money right away, but I would like to know your thoughts. What words of wisdom might you have about getting paid up front in a professional, fair, non-aggressive way? Okay, so this is, thanks Vanessa, my new background. I got to tell you the story about my background first before I answer that question. So when I first started hypnotherapy, and of course I operated out of my lounge room, I wasn't going to spend money unnecessarily. I bought these from IKEA. So I bought these dividers from IKEA, very cheap. And what that did was it hid my personal stuff behind. So I had like a crystal cabinet, personal photographs, all the rest of it. So it gave me the professional space and the business space. And so 10 years later, I've taken them out and I thought, hey, I can use this with my desk when I do my lives. Isn't that much better? So thank you, Vanessa, for letting me know. All right, so let's get going and let's answer this question. So if you heard what I just said about this lady who sent me quite a long question about her experience with this particular client. The client did well, the client loved the sessions, she didn't ask for the money, and the client has disappeared. And now this hypnotherapist is angry. So the first thing that we need to understand is that when we get feedback from our clients and something like this happens, it is a blessing because it means we need to change our processes and systems. So every time I have received some sort of constructive feedback from a client, you put that feedback and you change your systems and you change your structure so that you become a better therapist, so that you become more professional, so that you become more credible. So don't take it as personal. That's the first thing. So this client, she hasn't paid for your services. that you've already given her, but now this is waking you up and this is shaking you to your core because you are so angry about what she did that you will now introduce systems and structures that will change your business forever. Okay, so it is a blessing. Every time you get feedback, every time you get disappointed, every time you get challenged by a client, this is an opportunity for you to move forward and create a better system and a better structure. So, in terms of a couple of things that I need to mention, first of all, is I repeat, I do not schedule anybody in our HypnoFit calendar. So we've got a number of hypnotherapists that work here. Nobody sees any clients until the session is paid for. They know that, they understand that from the free consult. So they can't get into the calendar. It's impossible for them to even get into the calendar until the session is paid for. So we just won't do that. We're too busy. We're not going to put in slots in our calendar that potentially may lead to no-shows or people changing their mind or cold feet or whatever. So when people come into the free consultation, the complimentary consultation to find out what's going on for them, and we sell them a program of work that we need to do for them, they either go on a payment plan, in which case they need to pay $200 deposit just for us to set up the payment plan. That comes off the balance that they owe, of course. That's not an administration cost. That comes off the balance that they owe, but we're about to do a whole heap of work. We're about to send them a questionnaire. We're about to schedule them in our calendar. We're about to match up times with them and our hypnotherapists. You know, this all takes time. And so we're not going to invest all that time and effort without them also investing their money. So you have to see their money as an exchange of energy. They give you something, we give something back. We are not going to be giving our energy unless we're actually paid for our services, okay? And they do value your services when you act in a professional way, and they understand that this is a system. So the situation that you described happened to you about your client not paying you could never happen here because we just wouldn't see them in our calendar. So it just wouldn't happen here. The second thing is, I'll give you another example. The only time that I don't collect money, you know, in advance of the session, I do a lot of supervision. So yesterday I did, for instance, supervision on a couple of hypnotherapists. In Australia, in order to be accredited with the Australian Hypnotherapy Association, you need to do X amount of supervision sessions on a regular basis. Now, the first thing I do is I collect the money before I start anything. Why do I do that? I do that because I want it out of the way. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to remember it. And I certainly don't want the session to end with a money transaction. So that's what you need to put in your head, is that you don't want the session to end with a money transaction. You want the session to be all, you know, nice and lovely and a beautiful experience for the client. And the other thing that's wonderful about collecting money in advance, where it all happens in the background, is that you just don't have that conversation in the session. You don't waste time doing administration stuff. It's already handled, so that the time that you got with your client, whether it's 60 minutes or 75 minutes or 90 minutes, is full-on therapy. There's no administration time. The sessions are already pre-organized. The payment is already made. You don't have to waste time in the session. Now, going back to my example about supervision from yesterday, the first thing I said to my beautiful hypnotherapist was, I said to her, okay, let's get the business part out of the way. Have you got your credit card ready? So she paid me at the beginning of the supervision session. So that's what I would say. Let's get the business part out of the way. Let's get the business part of the session out of the way so we can get moving. And so clients, for instance, who have come back for maintenance sessions after the finished initial program and perhaps they haven't prepaid, that's the first thing I would say. Let's get the business part out of the way so that we can move forward. That's just the way that I think. Even when we go to a restaurant with friends, I can't relax until the business part is out of the way. So what do I mean by that? When we go to a restaurant with friends, you know, and people start chatting and they haven't even looked at the menu, I can't relax because we need to get the food going. We need to get the food coming back. So then we can relax and talk. So I say to everybody, okay, save the chit chat for later. Let's look at the menus and let's choose our food. let's get this underway and then let's relax. So I want to make sure that I have the drinks ordered, the food ordered, that the waiting staff are not waiting for us, and then we are ready to enjoy, relax. And that's the way that I see the sessions. The business part is out of the way, and then we enjoy and relax. So with this particular person that has sent this question, it's good. I want you to see this experience as positive. You have experienced this particular issue with this client not paying for your services so that it can shake you to your core and change the way you do things. Do not book people into your system and into your calendar, into your valuable time. And the way that I see it, it's not just my valuable time, or my hypnotherapist's valuable time, because the fact is, if a client doesn't turn up at HypnoFit, I still have to pay them a salary. So my hypnotherapists still get paid. I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to pay money when I'm not getting anything back. So it's a done deal that the services get paid for before they even arrive. Because if they don't turn up, I still have to pay them for the time that they're here, regardless of who's here and who isn't. So have the mindset that, even if your practice is not busy, if you are not getting paid for that session because you're chasing money or they haven't turned up, potentially somebody else could have used that spot who needs you and who will value you. So I'll just go through those tips again. Make sure that you charge before you put them in your calendar. A, if you haven't done that, do that at the very beginning of the session before you even start. So let's get the business part out of the way. And have you got your credit card ready? Great. Boom, done. Okay, and then you progress with your session so that there is absolutely no reason to end the session with a financial transaction. I don't like that. That would be, I wouldn't like that, finishing the session with a financial transaction. So in our sessions here at HypnoFit, there is no administration done in the session. There's no booking of appointments. There's no arranging times. There's no collecting money. It's all done behind the scenes before the client has even started their program. We have a structure. We have a system. Clients appreciate this structure and this system, and they understand that we are a professional outfit and we do things professionally. This is the way that we do it. We don't, chase them up for money at the end of the session. So, and certainly don't chase them up for money, after they've completed their session. So that's the advice that I would give you in terms of collecting money, is that you need to value your services, okay? You need to understand your own value and charge for that value, okay? Now, if you don't value what you're offering, then you need to reassess your mindset about what it is that you're offering. So I had somebody say to me yesterday, another hypnotherapist, he said, I feel very awkward about charging someone for hypnotherapy for alcohol reduction when they can just go to AA. But you need to understand things from the customer's perspective. They're not going to AA for a reason. Maybe you think it would be fine to go to AA, but that's not their world. That's not their belief system. They're not happy to go there. They need your help. They need your assistance. So the first thing you need to understand is your own value, your own value. For those people who are on my 15 Steps to Hypnosis Business Success, on that platform, you do have many webinars and many live workshops for you to access. And one of them is how to sell without being salesy. And everything is covered there in terms of mindset, in terms of the words that you use, in terms of how you overcome objections, and in terms of understanding your own value and charging for that value. So I hope that's been helpful. For those of you online at the moment, good to see you all. So tell me what questions. I'm ready to answer your questions. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Anything at all, I'll be happy to answer about anything. So many of you would know that I'm completely transparent, and I am happy to answer personal questions, business questions, spiritual questions, therapy questions. And if you don't want to put your question on here, all you need to do is email me at helen helenmitis.com, helen@helenmitis.com, and I will answer your question next Thursday, usually 10:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Today it was later because I was interviewed by the wonderful Phil Pollock. Rick Pollock, what did I say, Phil? I think I said Phil because Phil's online. Rick Pollock, which was absolutely fantastic, so much fun. We covered so many topics there, so many topics, and he even made me reveal stuff I have never revealed before in a public forum. So I said some stuff that maybe other people might get offended by. But you know what? This is the way I see it. I'm 51 years old now, and if you get offended by what I say, oh well, you know, that's just what's going on for you. I live my truth and say it the way I see it. This is the way I see it. So when you get a chance, I will be sharing his live interviews. I've said stuff that I've never said before in a public forum, which is quite interesting. All right, so I haven't seen any other questions come up. Make sure that you do email me if you have any questions. Now, just reminding everybody who is in Australia and in New Zealand that this year is the different year for me. I am taking things more slowly. I'm not doing the live events that I used to do. By this time last year and the year before and the year before and the year before that, I was preparing myself to go back to the States to present at HypnoThoughts Live in Vegas. I'm not doing that this year. I am saving my energy for other areas, other projects, other focuses, licensing the HypnoFit brand across the world so that people can do my system in a professional way. It's already done for them. I've got all the text messages we send clients, all the emails we send clients, all the documents we send clients, all the resources we send clients, everything. If you are interested in finding out more about becoming a HypnoFit licensed practitioner, no matter where you're in the world, whether you're in Turkey or Dubai or England or America, send me a message and I will set up a time to chat with you about that. If you want to see me at a live event, I will only be seeing people at my half days in September in Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney and Auckland, and I'll be holding the retreat, my 5-day retreat, which is therapy, business and immersion. 5-day retreat at the Gold Coast, my favourite place in the whole world, in October, which I am so excited about. So if you want to know about any of that stuff, I now have a link that links all my events all in the one page. So just let me know and I will send it for you. Okay, so wishing you an awesome day, an awesome week. Remember, you are unique and what you have to offer your clients is valuable. Do not discount your services just for the sake of getting a client. Make sure that you understand your worth and make sure that you understand what you can do for the client, what the potential is for your client to have massive transformation. Whenever I have sold anything, whether it's a therapist system to my hypnotherapist or whether it's a depression program for my clients, whatever I sell, I understand the value. In fact, I always think, oh, well, if you don't get it, you miss out. You don't know what you're missing out on because I know what you can possibly get from this. I know how you're going to transform. I know how you're going to end up. So you've got to have that picture in your head. Stop thinking about yourself and, oh, am I going to be able to deliver? And put the picture in your head about what your client will be and where they will be at the end of your program. Where they will be, whether they do your therapist program or whether they do any program, how their life is going to change. And that's why I don't have any problem selling, because I believe in my stuff. You've got to believe in your stuff, okay? You've got to believe in the value that you're offering. What I always think is it's undervalued. My stuff is undervalued because I know that if they do this program, they'll get it back, 10 times over if they follow the steps. And so you need to understand that value too. You need to understand what value, where will my client be at the end of this program, okay?